Good, good morning, Beacon, and good morning from Beacon's historic sanctuary here in Summit, New Jersey, on the land of the Lenape Native Americans. I am the Reverend Emily Bogus. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I serve as one of Beacon's leadership team alongside Reverend Dr. Robin Tanner and Dr. Tuli Patel. Reverend Robin this morning is in West Virginia working on behalf of voting rights, and to Robin, we say good luck and thank you on behalf of us all. Dr. Tuli Patel is, of course, leading our amazing children and youth ministries program today, most of which is not happening in this room, but happening in our building. This morning, I am also joined by Misa Iwama and John O'Neill on music, Will Cisco working on the live stream, Alex Eisenstein on video creation, and I cannot tell you a host of volunteers who make Sundays at Beacon come alive. Nicole Jacobson right now, who is our intern, is welcoming you in the chat this morning. Please take a moment to come out of invisibility and make yourself be known. We love seeing you show up in our chat, and so take a moment right now to do so. If you are local to Summit, we invite you to come out to 695 Springfield Avenue here in Summit at 12:15 for an outdoor musical social hour. You can come be serenaded by Dennis and Craig and Jenny, or you can sing along to tunes that you love. We hope to see you there. And of course, I have to tell you, we cannot forget about the amazing children and youth ministry. I know I talked about it a moment ago, but I want to just lift it up for a moment. The last 2 weeks, I have been officiating wedding ceremonies for our youth alumni. They are now all grown up, and they have asked Beacon to be a part of their wedding ceremonies, welcoming us into their partnerships. And they have said to me on countless occasions how impactful this community was on their growing up, making them who they are. And one of the most beautiful moments has been actually seeing that there in their wedding party is their youth group. So let us not be deceived that what we're doing here matters, because it does. And I am so grateful to Dr. Tuli, to Jermaine, and to Dana for the gifts that they are bringing, not to mention all of the teachers and youth advisors who make Sunday amazing. So now, Beacon, I invite you to center yourself and allow yourself to quiet just for a moment. Listen deep within for your life's song. Are you listening? Let go of all that has come before and be here now. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Judy Brewer, and I'll be reading a chalice lighting written by Marnie Singer. The chalice is the container, the space where the musicians and the listeners gather. The oil is the fuel, the hours of practice and the life experiences of everyone in the room. And the wick is the instruments and vocal cords through which the music will flow. And the flame is the music which is created as if by magic when the instruments are lifted, the breath is inhaled, and the downbeat is nodded. May this flame ignite the music within us all.
It's time to check in with our friend Maya, now a third grader. I'm happy to share that Maya is now managing her anxiety much better and loving life. Yes, she still has to wear a mask and be careful about things like eating lunch outside, but school doesn't feel so strange anymore. Maya never has to be reminded by her moms about her mask or water bottle. One of the things Maya has missed is singing. She used to be a member of a choir at the congregation she attended. Sometimes Maya closes her eyes and tries to attach shapes and colors to music. She sees warm, bright colors and round shapes. They never seem to be dull colors or shapes with hard sides and angles. With news of the vaccines becoming available for kids under 12 years old, Maya is so excited to be able to maybe sing again. It's been hard to call those shapes and colors to mind. Maya's moms have encouraged her to keep her vocal cords strong by singing when she's home and by trying to hum. Singing alone is somehow just not the same, right? Even for those of us who don't think we're good singers, much as we enjoy singing loudly in the shower, there's nothing like singing together, is there? It's a little bit like being told to go to your room and play, which is fine for a while, but it's so much more fun when you do it with someone else, even if you're playing different things. Maya has heard it being referred to as parallel play. Is there such a thing as parallel singing? Maya wonders. For now, Maya bides her time. She hums on the bus and sings at home. She'll sing the opening line of her favorite song, Meditation on Breathing. Madre's soprano voice will fill in, and Mama's alto voice will begin. Breathe in, breathe out. That's Maya's cue. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. Like a bird, Madre's soprano voice comes flying in over the top. They sound really good together. Maya closes her eyes. The warmth, the colors, the shapes fill her mind's eye. The day is coming when some tenor and baritone voices will help complete the warm, bright circle of sound. In that, she has faith. Here ends our story for all ages. For today's meditation, we take some time to consider how we can bring things into focus. It is a time of shift and change as we move through this fall, heading towards daylight savings time, and all around us, leaves are turning, temperatures are dropping, and change is afoot. Our internal selves will often reflect the changes outside. We might feel elated or concerned and anxious about the coming winter. So we take time to cultivate our relationship first with ourselves before we extend ourselves out to others, before we work on loving compassion and kindness to others. We must be in relationship with ourselves. Good, healthy relationships with ourselves begin with focus, with bringing into clarity the things that we are experiencing and allowing insight to arise. Settling in, breathing in and out through the nose, allowing the eyes to rest, moving them away from the eyelids, allowing them to sink back. The jaw goes slack. Enjoying the blank screen behind our closed eyelids, or if you are watching the images in front of you, just resting in the beauty that you see. Noticing any sounds you hear, noticing the solidity of the ground beneath your feet. Noticing any textures against your skin, and knowing that the mind is also very much bringing sensory awareness to where you are and how you are. In this moment, at this present time, acknowledging, bowing, honoring whatever is present for you. Even as the winds shift around us, within us there also might be change, and we recognize it, we acknowledge it, we see it, we are present to it. We process our experiences, positive or negative, in the body. We feel it in the body. That is why somatic practices are so critical and important. Returning our awareness now to the breath, in and out through the nose, noticing little details about the breath, and just allowing everything to settle. If your eyes are closed, you are invited to take a deep breath in and gently open them as we return to our worship service together.
Abide with me, fast falls eventide. The darkness deepens, still with me abide. When other helpers fail and comforts flee, help of the helpless, oh, abide with me. I fear no foe, with thee at hand to bless. Ills have no weight, and tears no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where, grave, thy victory? I triumph still if thou abide with me.
There is no doubt that life is full, both joy and sorrow, both struggle and celebration. For each week here at Beacon, we endeavor to honor the fullness that is life. Please, let's begin by putting your hand on your heart. Feel the beating of your heart and feel our collective presence with you. If there is struggle in your heart, we invite you to give this struggle some space and mindful attention. And if you are inspired to do so, put a heart emoji in the chat to signify self-compassion for your struggles and challenges. We also invite you to lift up in the chat the names of a person or a place that is struggling so that we can hold them together and support and care for each other's sorrows. Today, we light a candle for Phil Freiberger, who passed away on Tuesday evening. Phil both grew up in our congregation and also during his adult life connected with Reverend Robin in North Carolina. Phil had returned to Beacon these past few years for services. We're holding his daughters, family, and communities in our prayers and thoughts. And for the wider world and community, we light a candle for Colin Powell's family and all those who have lost a loved one from COVID-19. We light a candle for our collective vulnerabilities in the face of the pandemic and the continued hardships COVID-19 presents in our lives and the lives of our families, friends, and neighbors. With each candle lit, may each one of us know that we are both held in the care and love of our Beacon community. Likewise, it is important in our Beacon community to also share and celebrate the beauty and joy in our lives. We cherish the joy, beauty, and blessings all around us. For me, autumn is a favorite time of year. It dazzles me with its vibrant colors, and the crisp air energizes my whole being. I was lucky to be married on a beautiful day in October, and this year celebrate my 35th wedding anniversary. I feel truly thankful to my husband, Dan, for the fullness of our journey together and rejoice in the care we give to each other, to our son, and the life we share. Please take a moment now. Lift up a celebration in your life, a birthday, an anniversary, a new beginning, good endings, healing. Maybe place your hand on your heart again and reflect on all of your joys, big and small. Feel how a sense of gratitude can expand within your heart and know Beacon celebrates you. Today, we celebrate our Beacon community for creating a caring congregation in which it is understood that everyone needs care at different points in their life, and for a congregation that shows up to care for each other when needed. We want to extend a special congratulations to our member, Mia Morse, who passed her nursing exam. We also applaud more widely the dedicated medical care teams who are working hard to defeat this pandemic and heal those who have fallen ill from both the short-term and long-term effects of COVID-19. We deeply admire and appreciate their care. And we celebrate our community, our wider circle of family, friends, and neighbors who have done their part to care for their communities by reducing the risk of transmitting this disease and to ease the suffering of those challenged by the pandemic. For these gifts and so much more, we give thanks.
Hello, Beacon. My name is Erica Malinowski, and I, along with my husband Michael and our 4-year-old son Stanton, was welcomed into Beacon 2 years ago when we moved here from California. I still remember my first impression walking through the doors: light and friendliness. From the people who first greeted us to the warm smiles of the people next to us when we sat down. And wow, was that first impression accurate? Even as we've moved to remote services, Beacon is still a touchstone in our week and an anchor for me to the rest of the world. Whether it's Dr. Tooley reaching out to tell Stanton when Shanti the Frog is going to be appearing in services, or it's helping out with laundry for Summit Warm Hearts, or it's Reverend Emily reaching out to ask me to stretch my talents for the Capitol campaign. Beacon is a place where I feel valued. I am deeply grateful that my children, not just Stanton, but also the twins who are coming up in January, are going to have such a warm and supportive community around them as they grow up. The truth is that we create this community called Beacon together. Our mission comes alive through our relationships, our voices, our leadership, and our gifts. Now we move into a time where we give generously to support making this mission come alive in our lives and in the world. In a minute, you'll see ways to contribute to Beacon. We invite you to lean into this practice of generosity. I know firsthand that it makes a difference. Thank you.
Do any of you remember the church lady from Saturday Night Live featuring Dana Carvey? I believe she had a lot to say about Satan. Are you with me? Well, growing up, my friends called my mom the church lady, even though she was much less judgy and, in my opinion, much more beautiful. This was due to her large collection of church hymnals, housed in her small office that was off our kitchen, the place where we gathered, my friends and I. She was, after all, the editor of church music publishing for 3 major publishing houses throughout the course of her career. She owned the hymnals of every major Christian denomination and a few minor ones. And when we, my friends and I, would gather in the kitchen, you couldn't help but notice the hymnals, and we often took them off the shelves just to see what people were singing about. So on the Christmas that I began seminary, I bought her both of our Unitarian Universalist hymnals. And to this day, when she answers the phone, I don't even have to say hello. All I have to say is a number, 368. Gray or teal, she asks. Gray, I answer. And soon after, both she and her hymnal are seated at her upright piano. After the first verse, I ask the critical question when she stops playing. So, Mom, do you think a congregation can sing that song? Or sing it well? It is the critical question because I believe when we are singing together and we feel comfortable doing so, it provides a gateway, it creates a gateway, a doorway into a deeper experience of life itself. A doorway, if you will, to the soul. Do you remember in the early days of the pandemic, listening to the voices of Italians singing out to one another from their windows and their balconies? I am here, they called to one another. And then someone would answer back in song, can you hear me? Each person singing from their balcony was reassured that they were not alone because they could hear their voices together. And their heartbreak was mirrored in another voice. Their voices calling out to one another to rise above this moment of despair. Beloved, music is a doorway to the soul. Brooklyn flautist and vocalist Natalie Joachim says, many of my most spiritual moments have been experienced through music, in that it moves you in a way that you oftentimes can't explain. And I think I find that moment that I can't explain, to be a spiritual experience. Maybe we call it a spiritual experience because it's one of the few places where we get to be embodied, not only fully ourselves, but with one another. Brian Eno of Roxy Music fame started an a cappella group with 4 friends. He said, you use your lungs in a way that you probably don't use them for the rest of the day, breathing deeply as you sing and openly to make each line. Singing opens our bodies from the tight tension and the anxiety that worm their way into our muscles throughout the course of the day. And as our bodies open, so do our minds. Sterling Freeman, a racial equity trainer, shared with me this week his experience singing the Black national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. In our conversation, without picking up a hymnal or looking it up online, he knew all of the words by heart, singing them out to me across Zoom. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. These words, he said to me, give Sterling's own story shape and color, as Maya said in Tuli's opening story. Shape and color. His life is then, it felt in a larger way, rooted in his ancestors' stories, but also with a vision towards his own legacy, to what he leaves behind. And it gives him the conviction, these words give him the conviction to carry on. With body and mind open, music does not leave the heart behind. How many of us have found ourselves singing when out of nowhere you discover the lump in your throat or tears streaming down your face, and you find that you cannot sing the next word or the next line for fear that you might become a human vacuum, releasing a giant sob into the atmosphere? Where on earth did that come from? I have been stood next to my children and they'll say to me, "Are you crying?" Yeah, come on, I know I'm not the only one out there. Yes, music is a doorway to the soul. It casts a rope down into the deep well of our being. And it's one of the central ways human beings experience wonder and awe together. It is an experience of unity, a oneness of body, mind, and spirit, a oneness with our fellow beings. Amy Ray of the Indigo Girls once said, "There are moments that I've had seeing people perform where it's just, that's God. They aren't God, but God's there." It's like Patti Smith at Red Rocks and Prince's Purple Rain Tour. There's just these moments, she says, and it's not the personality of the musicians anymore. Something's disappeared, and the music and the audience and everything has merged, and there's no separation between performer and audience. That, she says, is what spirituality is supposed to be. And that is why it is particularly hard this Sunday. Even as the world opens and closes and opens again from this pandemic, singing together, inside together, remains a potentially hazardous event. Virtually, of course, we can sing along with Misa and John from the safety of our own homes. I'm thankful for that. I am. I'm also thankful for the weeks outside underneath the tent at 695 Springfield Avenue, where we were able to sing with our amazing choir. And yet on this Sunday, when we are returning indoors because it is too cold to sing outside, when we are returning to an indoor gathered body after many weeks, we cannot sing together. We, our worship team, Reverend Robin, Tuli, Misa, John, Nicole, and I, we've had weighty conversations. We know that singing is a doorway to the soul. We know that it is probably one of the most significant things we do to open ourselves up each week. And yet each one of us has known someone that we've lost due to this pandemic from singing together. Each one of us have known people whose lives are now forever changed, and it's not a risk we're willing to take. And so you'll bear with us. We know the grief in not singing together. We know it. And yet this moment will not always be here. It's just right now. If there ever was a time when we needed to sing together, it is probably now. Singing is a gift that we've inherited from the first of our ancestors. Singing got them through the hardest of times. It showed them that there was more to the story than the despair that they felt in the here and now. There is more than what is happening right now. Again, Natalie Joachim, the Brooklyn flutist, has been reclaiming the music of her Haiti, the land that her parents left. One of the Haitian songs she fell in love with is called La Mise Perdue. She discovered that it's not actually a Haitian song. In fact, it is older than that. Having crossed the Atlantic from Africa, La Mise Perdue actually translates to misery is not sweet. And it was a way of simply stating, says Natalie, that I am not well at this moment, and I am in this place of misery, and it is not sweet. But I am not of this place of misery, and I plan to find life elsewhere. So These songs, this singing together, both named the real misery, but also helped lift people out of it. Beloved, we can't sing together, not here, not on a Sunday morning inside, but we can take that gateway to our soul and remember that this grief that we are experiencing is not going to last forever, that we will be liberated from it. That is what singing together, that is what music reminds us. This is not all there is. And so I invite you, beloved, to fill your life with music in whatever way you can. Make yourself a playlist of liberation songs, songs that remind you that there is more to life than this moment, songs that remind you of liberation. Sing to the people in your house. Find safe ways of gathering. We on our team are doing so. In fact, today at 12:15, we are going to be gathering outside at 695 Springfield Avenue, where Dennis and Jenny and Craig are going to sing to us and invite us to sing along with them. If you are local, come out and sing with us. For our worship team is going to continue to find safe ways to do that because we know that it is a gateway to our soul. Number 368 in our gray hymnal was the second song I learned after Spirit of Life. It's called Now Let Us Sing. And when I sing it in a congregation, it makes me feel alive. It was the song I chose for my wedding. And I'm going to sing it to you now because there is no one in this room. I am recording it for you. The lower voices call to the congregation, now let us sing, 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 now let us sing, 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 lift up your voice, be not afraid, now let us sing to the power of the hope within. It's probably a little too low for me, as you can hear. So the lower voices call out, and then the higher voices answer the call. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. There is that moment. And when I am singing it with all of you, my voice becomes stronger than it is right now. It is hard to sing alone. Different voices calling to one another to lift up your voice, to be not afraid. Sing, 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 we say to one another, to the power of hope, the power of faith, and the power of love within that is deep down inside us and that makes us one. Thank you for allowing me to have tears as I sing. That song and so many others and being here with you is a lifeline to my soul. It is the doorway to life and love and liberation. Amen, beloved. We will sing together soon.
Oh
Beloved, I give thanks for our time together this morning. I give thanks for the song that you bring to our community and the way that our voices are lifted up in harmony. Together, we make our mission come alive. And so, as we go from this sacred hour, I lift up the words of my colleague and our former minister, the Reverend David Bumba, who said, "Beneath all of our diversity, behind all of our differences, there is a unity of spirit that makes us one and binds us together forever, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars." May we go from this sacred hour grounded in that unity of spirit that is found in the different harmonies that we sing. May we be healed by that song, and may we be made whole in our singing together. Amen.